For over 1,000 years, Oxford has stood at the crossroads of power, knowledge, and ambition. Kings have claimed it, armies have marched through its streets, and ordinary people have fought to survive within its walls. Students have debated ideas that would reshape the world while wars raged outside. And today, thanks to modern AI techniques, we can transform centuries-old engravings and faded photographs into vivid, lifelike scenes that bring Oxford's incredible past to life. From a muddy river crossing to one of the most famous university cities on Earth, this is the complete story of Oxford. Long before Oxford became famous, the area was simply a shallow river crossing. The name Oxford means a place where oxen crossed the river, and farmers moving their cattle used the shallow water to guide their animals across. Over time, small houses appeared near the ford, slowly growing into a settlement. Archaeological digs have revealed Roman pottery workshops and kilns in the area, including a Roman pot dating to around 100 AD, proving that people lived and worked here nearly 2,000 years ago. Yet the Romans never built a major city, and when they left, their settlement faded into history. The real story of Oxford began with the Saxons. By the 700s, they had established a small town at the river crossing. Wooden houses lined dirt roads, and life was simple but growing. Around this time, a young noblewoman named Friswide made her mark on the city. According to legend, she refused marriage to a local king and chose a religious life instead, founding a monastery and church. That church later became the site of what is now Christ Church Cathedral by Vikings. Recognizing the strategic value of the river crossing, King Edward the Elder built fortifications to protect the town. Yet tensions between Saxons and Danes often boiled over. In 1002, King Aethelred the Unready ordered a massacre of Danish settlers. In Oxford, Danish residents sought refuge in St. Friswad's church, but the doors were barred and the building set on fire, killing everyone inside. Among the dead was the sister of the Danish king Sweyn Forkbeard, ensuring that vengeance would follow. Despite the tragedy, Oxford survived and prepared for what was to come. In 1066, William the Conqueror arrived, and Oxford submitted without resistance. But submission did not mean trust. William ordered the construction of Oxford Castle, a massive fortress designed to control the town. Its St. George's Tower still stands today, a reminder of Norman power. Saxon lands were confiscated, laws imposed, and Norman culture established. Yet something unexpected began to grow in Oxford's shadow: learning. By the early 1100s, scholars were gathering in the town to teach and learn. Lectures were informal at first, held in rented rooms and private houses, but the number of students grew steadily. In 1167, King Henry II banned English students from attending the University of Paris, and many chose Oxford instead. What had been a simple settlement now became a center of education. Tensions between the townspeople and students were frequent. Scholars enjoyed privileges the locals did not, which sometimes erupted into violence. In 1209, a conflict led many scholars to leave Oxford, founding a rival university in Cambridge, but Oxford endured. The first colleges appeared in the 1200s, creating self-governing communities of scholars with permanent endowments, rules, and housing. The 1300s brought new challenges. The Black Death reached Oxford in 1349, killing perhaps half the population. The university struggled to survive, and many lectures were abandoned. A few years later, violence erupted again on St. Scholastica's Day in 1355, when a tavern argument escalated into a 3-day riot, leaving dozens dead. The aftermath was brutal, with the king punishing the town and requiring annual ceremonies to honor the dead scholars, a ritual that continued for nearly 5 centuries. Oxford rebuilt and expanded, but the 1500s brought religious upheaval. Henry VIII's break with Rome led to the dissolution of monasteries, and many religious sites in Oxford were destroyed. Later, during the reign of Mary I, three Protestant leaders, Hugh Latimer, Nicholas Ridley, and Thomas Cranmer, were executed in the city for heresy. The Martyrs' Memorial now stands in their memory. During the English Civil War in the 1600s, Oxford became the royal capital for King Charles I. The King's Court moved into Christ Church, colleges became barracks and ammunition stores, and life was dominated by the sounds of drilling soldiers and the threat of siege. In 1646, parliamentarian forces besieged the city, and Charles escaped in disguise, leaving Oxford to surrender. In the following centuries, Oxford became a hub of science, philosophy, and literature. Thinkers like John Locke and astronomer Edmund Halley studied here, while the Bodleian Library grew into one of Europe's most impressive collections. In the 1800s, Oxford transformed once more. Railways connected it to London, and factories brought industry and growth. William Morris founded a car company in the city, producing bicycles, motorcycles, and eventually automobiles, establishing Oxford as a center of innovation. During the World Wars, Oxford contributed both brains and industry. Colleges became hospitals and training centers, and scientists helped mass-produce penicillin, saving countless lives. Remarkably, the city was largely spared from bombing in World War II. In the 20th century, Oxford became more inclusive, admitting women and international students. Landmarks like the Radcliffe camera symbolized the city's commitment to knowledge, while Morris Motors evolved into part of BMW, producing the modern Mini. Today, Oxford balances its history with innovation, hosting world-class research, pharmaceuticals, and technology companies. Yet the city remains paradoxical. Cobblestone college quadrangles sit alongside working-class neighborhoods. Wealth, education, and privilege coexist with housing shortages and traffic struggles. Town and gown tensions persist in new forms. The twist is that Oxford's story is not just a history of buildings and famous people. Beneath every street and square lie centuries of survival, reinvention, and human ambition. From a muddy river ford to one of the most celebrated centers of learning on Earth, Oxford continues to shape minds, influence the world, and remind us that cities are living histories.